For all the strange things that George Lucas has done, whether it be bad, unnecessary, or just downright racist, and if you think Jar Jar Binks was bad, he still is. I don't care if he runs into Jar Jar Binks, the Care Bears, and Fonzie from Happy Days. Destroy! Well, apparently this kid would. A little boy named Jamie, played by Jake Lloyd. Jake Lloyd, and where do I know that name? My God, what a tall building!
There's something really important you've been wanting for Christmas?
Well, I've always wanted to ruin a Star Wars movie. Actually, his acting sounds a little familiar.
It's weightless, you can see it, and if you put it in a barrel, it'll make the barrel lighter.
This is tense! R2, get us off this autopilot. It's gonna get us both killed.
It's like they have the same acting coach.
Wow. This is Edmund. It's over for you.
This is Edmund. It's over for you. God, this kid makes Jake Lloyd look like Haley Joel Osment. Look at his wingspan. He's making Queen Amidala's clothes look subtle.
Until you apologize! Now apologize! Great time I'm having.
Monsters out there,
crash,
leaking in
Earth,
here,
cannibals, and now a fireball up my ass! If you had no, I wouldn't be here in the first place!
So just to recap, this is the guy who said this is okay and this is okay. Which means this is the project that he was personally ashamed of. I'm gonna go over that again. Okay, personally I have no idea what's going on. It's like watching the Star Wars prequels.
Looks like you made a friend.
It looks like Jar Jar Binks' aborted fetus. Has anyone ever noticed that Pauly Shore is to white people what Jar Jar Binks is to black people? I have to say, I'm very offended. Yeah, where are we on the annoy-meter anyway? We've passed Edward from Twilight, the racist robots from Transformers 2, which means we're right between Chris Tucker and Jar Jar Binks. That's quite an accomplishment, movie! That's quite an accomplishment! Shoot yourself! God, it sounds like Jar Jar Binks in a blender! Some choir is brought in to sing straight up gibberish that sounds like some sort of dead language. Oh, there.
She looks like an angel.
Ugh, I don't know, that line seems to stink of Lucas.
Are you an angel?
Grabbed me and said, Aunt May? Aunt May? Is that an angel?
Are you an angel?
Ugh. It's basically just the rollerblade version of the pod race from episode 1. First minute's kind of fun, second minute's a little annoying, third minute is just grating, and fourth minute we got 12 more minutes of this shit! God! Number 3. Jar Jar Binks. As if I even need to go into much detail. He cemented himself as one of the most annoying characters in all of cinema. But on top of that, he always has to have his ass saved as well. Even when they first meet him, they have to rescue him from something. That's a good introduction.
You saved my again.
What's this?
A local.
I think the most I've ever seen him do in these movies is lead them to where the underwater city is. That's it. Everything else is either getting himself in trouble or getting other people in trouble. And then somehow this guy actually gets a position of government. Though I guess that makes sense, saying nothing but garbage, being terrified of people, and yet never listening to what they have to say. Yep, that adds up. And I guess I'll point out what everyone else has as well. If Jar Jar was never put in power, then the Emperor never would have made his clone army, and everything wouldn't have gone to shit. So, yeah, everything that goes wrong in the following movies, you can totally blame on Jar Jar. What else do I even need to say about him? His voice sucks, the character sucks, he can't take care of himself, and he doomed all the galaxy. Fuck him.
I expect.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
That is bad. That is very, very bad.
Wow, I've never heard a horrible catchphrase try to be so needlessly nailed into your head since.
Ah, word.
Every day these big jumbos come and take my money, they put me in the toilet, and hold me upside down.
As you can see, Devin has been taking acting lessons that even the great Jake Lloyd would be jealous of. One of the few people who's indifferent to Dane Cook. I don't love him, I don't hate him, but this is bad. Really bad. I mean, this is like Jar Jar bad. The only one who doesn't seem to be affected by it is Smits, as he had a metal plate put in his head years ago that they think blocks off part of his brain. Probably the part that said say no to Star Wars prequels.
To pee or not to pee?
I'm sure this is what Rodgers and Hammerstein had in mind when they wrote this angelic music. Dwarves, cross-dressers, and Obi-Wan Kenobi in Lederhosen. How about when that little Star Wars pimple said it?
Are you an angel?
We try.
Nah, that's a coincidence.
I hate to tell you I told you so, but I told you so!
Christ, there's more poop jokes in this movie than The Phantom Menace.
Oh, it's not like he was Jake Lloyd. Well, that kid was shit.
But on the plus side, at least we know Lucas would never partake in another overly annoying racial stereotype in his film career. He'd just save himself for the especially annoying ones. So the juice apparently turns Indiana Jones into Bizarro Indiana Jones, totally possessed by the worst of humanity. Metachlorians is a great idea.
For every 24 Phantom Menaces, there is a Return of the King. For every 2-bit Shyamalan, a Stanley Kubrick is born.
For every realization that Where the Wild Things Are is a brilliant movie, there's another realization that maybe The Dark Knight Rises was incredibly stupid.
But who to pick to shell out the laughs without appearing lame or half-assed?
Oh, which one should I go with? Which one should I go with? And the consensus from people seems to be the same. We're sick of it. It's everywhere. We want a little bit more variety. And I guess really it's no big surprise. You could suddenly see things and do things you couldn't have done before. But here, we have programs that can do the math for us and figure out where the lighting would be. But the reason this doesn't always fool people is because in reality, light is not always going to fall where the mathematical equation says it will. Whether it be the environment, the camera angle, whatever, there's always going to be something a little different about real life that a computer is not going to catch. CGI is great for creating worlds and illusions, but it shouldn't probably be used for every part of that world or every element of those illusions. If the idea is to tell a story where the illusion is supposed to completely fool you, then it should be acknowledged as only one method that can be used in creating an effect. Enjoy how he is in no way worse than Jar Jar Binks singing Bjork while scratching a blackboard with a screaming baby during a fire alarm in a house of howling mental patients.
I make it more convincing by adding the Na'vi and Jar Jar Binks to the mix.
Kids are gonna love you long time.
Hey, I guess it's in the blood. Or the midichlorians. I don't know, whatever the fuck spirit blood is. Even sometimes in person.
A lot of people view George Lucas as the Antichrist.
About what many of us think are just the stupidest things. Sometimes it's worth just leaving it as background noise.
Phantom Menace.
The chosen one.
In fact, I don't think human hands could have made it. I think something much more horrendous and disrespectful had to pull its energy together and make something so awful. Oh my god. I just figured it out. The horrible CG animation, the awful stereotypes, the tremendously unfunny humor, the fact that everything in this movie is despicably awkward and unnatural! My God! I know who directed this film!
Also need way more fart jokes. Lots of more fart jokes. This is gonna be a greater for the food fighter tour.
For hell's motherfucking hard ice damn it thee!
Wait a minute.
Tired of a movie giving you an unbelievable experience, only to find years later the same filmmakers fuck it up with their shitty sequel or spin-off?
Maybe midichlorians aren't such a bad idea.
Wake up! Number 8. I'm not even gonna name this one. I think you can all guess what it is.
Years ago, a battle was fought, and an empire was destroyed. Now, the saga will continue.
You were expecting someone else?
Yep, the same year The Phantom Menace was being hyped up, Austin Powers' sequel, The Spy Who Shagged Me, surprised us with this hilarious fake-out. Yeah, baby! Make it a big hit. I think people were laughing so hard at this and so happy just to see these characters again that no matter what you showed them, they probably would have been happy. How can #1 priority?
If you see only one movie this summer, see Star Wars.
Nothing much else to say. It delivered just the right punch at just the right time.
Hello, help me with the chair, please. All I wanted was a frickin' rotating chair.
Pop, the realistic kid measurements are off the chart! But sadly, like the discovery of anything new, the excitement of one element often overshadows the other important ones. Everyone could post in a forum how much they liked or disliked a film. And with great speed, too. Yeah, I'm sure they'll catch on as well as this.
How?
I mean, I guess it's open to anyone. You know, given the midichlorian count, a part of me almost wishes I could hate it more, as they used to be the weakest part of the Star Wars movies. He shot out of a can. Spec! Jar Jar Binks.
You know Star Wars The Phantom Menace?
Oh, that gigantic piece of
awesomeness? We loved it too. That's why we want to do a film exactly like that.
Except we want to replace all the boring dialogue and exposition
with even more boring dialogue and exposition.
That sounds incredibly backwards.
Oh, but you know how all the characters took themselves too seriously.
Nobody liked that.
Making the story seem more important than it really is.
Amazingly unpopular.
When really, they're just a person who's bored with their lives, who discovers that they're amazing.
Well, at least he has his episode 1 shield while reenacting the Masters of the Universe movie. Up, that's what the side pod is for, keep it focused. We then got to, well, I would have said Rivendell, but both work. That, plus the voice of the Trade Federation guys from Phantom Menace.
Like Jake Lloyd, no one?
But my midichlorian count isn't high enough to have the Force.
My God, it's the greatest trailer I've ever. Oh, hello, sir.
They're Jar Jar.
Honey, we got the company. We got the company. We got the companies.
Pioneers, the Jefferson Starship cameo about now.
Now you sit here and watch things while I go and make the dinners. Oh, Piosa, Piosa!
Wouldn't you love to see how Jar Jar celebrates Black History Month?
I'd rather drive with Jake Lloyd. You're not concerned why the Jar Jars are watching gay acrobatic holograms?
Oh, Piosa! Double Piosa! Okay, time to watch the human pornographies I have for some reason. Oh, Piosa!
How is it? Turn, spin, spin, turn. Whoa!
And I converted to Chewbaccaism the minute I married Mrs. Jar Jar.
Dreidel, 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 I made you out of what?
Squeeze me, but Misa got to know how to.
Oh, thank heavens that finally paused.
That's not your real voice?
Oh, no. That's just a phase my race goes through. You see, we all start off whiny and annoying, but then we hit a certain age where we become quite charming and brilliant. The rest of my family will hit it soon enough, but until then, I thank you for indulging in all of my insufferable antics.
No problem.
Now, let us prepare for our wonderful holiday. Oh dear, there appears to be feces on the floor. Better step around that.
After so many years of people hating the prequels, these filmmakers had a lot to prove. The Wachowskis, the director. If you look at a lot of the deleted scenes and original scripts, you'll find that a lot of it was very similar to the now despised prequels. There were a lot of political talks, there were a lot of pointless scenes. And admit it, some of the dialogue has an eerie corniness of what was to come years later.
I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board.
Couldn't you just hear that alongside?
Either choice presents great danger to us all.
Years of not directing a film, not really doing that much storytelling, and nobody talking against him, but instead praising him as a genius. Can we really be shocked we got what we got? There is no one answer. It can come from any style, anywhere, from anyone. Let either film rely on just one element for their comedy, thank God. Everyone has had a film where you come out saying, wow, that's not at all what I thought I was gonna get from the trailer. It has a different one, so everybody has something new to offer. The only downside is, it's about as exciting as a Phantom Menace pod race. Phantom Menace all got positive reviews when they first came. In some respects, that's true for the Phantom Menace as well. It's a bad film, especially when compared to its predecessors. But critics liked it when it first came out because they thought the technology and visuals were breathtaking. And at the time, they kinda were. Now we can see the computers are overused, but back then we never saw a film that just surrounded itself in so much of that technology, at least not to this extent. And given all the same things that critics had to see over and over, yeah, this would be a little refreshing. But many people were upset that they couldn't connect with the story or characters. At least, they eventually said that. Many people were so sucked in by the hype that for a long time they convinced themselves that they like it, even though later they come around to admitting that they really don't. So the idea that critics are always going to be right doesn't make the most logical sense. This is like asking people to make videos saying why they love Star Wars and then suddenly editing it to make it look like you're talking about the Phantom Menace.
So this universe has both angels and hell, yet no Christianity.
Give it a midichlorian church. And that was Rogue One.
The most above average Star Wars prequel.
Loved or hated, but what if it just becomes okay? Number 4. Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. Yeah, pretty hard not to have what many consider the most hated sequel of all time. Though I technically think Attack of the Clones is a worse movie, Phantom Menace gave much more of a letdown than really any Star Wars viewer, fan or not, could have expected. Going from a simple story with strong themes, likable characters, and a well-defined mythos, this prequel gave us way too much story, boring/annoying/racist characters, and poop jokes. Because that's what was missing from Star Wars. Abandoning the mix of practical effects with superimposed imagery, this world lives mainly in the computer, never really looking like the main characters are looking at what should be right in front of them. The movie has done everything to rewrite the ideas and symbols that fans held so dear by saying faith and religion can be in a blood test. Virgin births are totally a thing now. No big deal. And people don't need to have personalities because we can put all our humor in one obnoxious character. Star Wars was loved so much that it took fans several viewings for them to accept that this is actually a bad movie. It was like the stages of death, going through denial, bargaining, fear, anger, but when the acceptance finally set in, there was no denying what crap storm we all witnessed. This went from arguably the most anticipated film in a lifetime to the most despised betrayal of a fan base felt with a creator. No matter what the future of the Star Wars movies hold, this film is so bad that everyone can almost guarantee it can't possibly get worse.
Are you an angel?
Oh, sorry, that was Jake Lloyd, but it was hard to tell the difference, wasn't it? Take two giants like Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Two classic filmmakers returned to their groundbreaking franchises after years and years of venturing into other genres. Poorly written dialogue and focus in the wrong areas seem to be major complaints for these films. Because if we had more good ones, we'd be spoiled.
Know that I am globulous.
You see, I almost laughed at that and I didn't. I could play Jar Jar Binks and I'd be amazing. Do you want midichlorians? Because this is how you get midichlorians.
Magic comes from dragons. Flows through the riders who command them.
Nah, I'm just kidding. It's midichlorians. Ah, this must be the evil black monster people who make annoying sounds for no reason. Oh my god, they're actually right in front of us! I mean, really right there! It's not Jar Jar shit!
All those shit. Poe, take...
This is mutiny, Mr. Poe.
That's right. I'm tired of listening to you! What's this Bigfoot Jar Jar Binks that's supposed to be next to me? Easier than following the Phantom Menace text.
Shit. Yes, it is.
My first big introduction and you Jar Jar Binks me?
Nobody must look cooler than the crews.
As you may know, there have been recent unusual occurrences all over the world.
Okay, warning signs a movie's gonna be bad using the phrase, as you know. It's a bad way to get out exposition, because if the person knows, why are they saying it?
As you may know, there have been recent unusual occurrences.
As you may know, there are many who consider the Miss United States pageant outdated.
As you know, our blockade is perfectly legal.
As you know, I conducted a raid on the Great Library, which most said didn't even exist.
As you know, those movies all blow.
I got
it. The Phantom
Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind. Shakespeare, British.
The ability to speak doesn't make you intelligent. The only good quote from Phantom Menace. Gurgi. Gurgi is if the Shaggy Dog's ass farted Jar Jar Binks' voice no matter how often you asked him to stop.
Oh my god, I'm dying on that! I said lines by George Lucas that have more charm!
Star Wars The Clone Wars is what happens when we keep everything canon but fix the prequel movies. Anakin, fixed. Padme, fixed. Jar Jar Binks, okay, we can't have it all.
It's like curing death. It's never gonna happen.
Is General Tarkin gonna play Jar Jar? It's time to talk about the biggest letdown. Second biggest. One of the biggest.
Barney the dinosaur is not in this barn.
George Lucas took over directing. Wait, that can't be. Barney is actually there. But is shocked to discover not only that Barney is still around, but the film is not above a poop joke. God, this is a Lucas movie. That's gotta be a good sign when the same creative force goes back to a nostalgic property, right? Right?
You provided the soundtrack to my heartbreak. But now it's payback time.
Yeah, and John Williams scored The Phantom Menace. I don't blame him for that. No, I don't. I haven't been this invested since talks of taxation in The Phantom Menace. What are we doing? Yeah, the commercial standard, but these things are uncomfortably weird. Kinda like how Star Wars would become the more I think about it.